Welcome to Olivia's Blooms. If you are new to my channel, I'm gardening in Charlottesville, Virginia, Zone 7B. I'm a home gardener who loves growing my own cut flowers and home decor with a focus on sustainable, regenerative, and eco-friendly practices. But most importantly, I'm here to support, share with, and learn from other gardeners, so I hope you will join me in growing this amazing gardening community. Hey guys, welcome back to Olivia's Blooms. Today I'm doing a really fun, simple, easy indoor planter for Valentine's Day. I've been starting tons of seeds in my basement and I just miss seeing actual blooms, and I happen to be at Trader Joe's. I'm sure many of you are in this situation where you can't resist their extremely reasonably priced plants. And my inspiration were these gorgeous Hellebores. Look at these. How could anyone resist these? Trader Joe's always has extremely reasonably priced Hellebores. I have some in my landscape from last year and they did very well. And then I grabbed a couple of these Heath. They look like heather to me, but they're labeled as Heath. And two of these white hyacinth that are actually starting to bloom out. I waited too long to make this, but they still smell amazing and I'm gonna put them in anyway. And then finally, just one purple rose. It's hard to see because the buds are a little bit closed up right now, but I thought this color palette would be soft and beautiful. And I'm gonna put it here in my dining room. I think it'll get enough light. But what I love about all of these plants are, even though they were a little bit pricey, I think in total this cost me around $40 for all these plants. These all can go in my landscape. They're all hardy in my zone. I'm in 7B. So I don't feel too guilty about enjoying them inside first and then planting them out. And like I said, I'm enjoying the Hellebores I did last year the same way. I used them in an indoor planter. And then I planted them out in the landscape and they're loving it out there. So what I have is just this bowl, and this was what I previously used as my centerpiece. If you saw my Scandinavian inspired winter centerpiece, that one has run its course. So I emptied everything out, cleaned it out, and just put some potting soil in here. And I think these pinks will play beautifully off the brown. You could use a basket. I have a white basket that I've used for my Valentine's arrangements that looks really pretty, and you could just put a vessel inside and fill that with soil. So you could use a lot of different things, but it'll be nice to have some just romantic color in our house. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just pot these up in here. And I think I'm gonna start with the two Hellebores right in the middle. Oh yes, already I'm loving this. Now this is a lot of plants for this amount of space, so I think I can manipulate the root balls on some of these, especially the hyacinth. You can just take out almost the bulb itself and then pop it right in here. The Hellebores, I don't wanna mess with their roots too much, so we're gonna start with those. And I'm just moving the soil out of the way and popping the plant out. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of roots on those, and these tend to be root bound. So I'm gonna place these and make sure they're about an inch lower than the rim so that I can have some area to water. And then I'm gonna put the next one right next to it. I'm gonna have to move this guy over a little bit. And I started with the soil level much, much lower than it will be in the end, because I know these plants are gonna take up a lot of space in here. And you wanna make sure the root balls are completely surrounded by soil on all sides. can see these roots are really healthy, but really vigorous too. And I do like to save these tags, not for consumption in case anyone was planning on eating these. But I like to save these downstairs so that, especially for ones that I'm going to put out in my landscape, then I know exactly what I bought. Okay, you could just stop right here and put some top dress around it. This is so beautiful, but I have these other plants, so we're going to add even more. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one Heath here and one in the back. And you can see I took off my table runner because I knew I was gonna get some dirt on the table, and I'll put that back on at the end. Save the tag. And now I'm angling this out a little bit, which you can do in containers, especially if they're not going to be in here for too long. As long as the root ball is surrounded by soil, you can angle them out a little bit. So you can see here, just arrange these hellebore leaves a little bit around. And there you have a beautifully angled purple, pop of purple. And what I love about these Heath or Heather is that even when these blooms are gone, it's a lovely dark green, evergreen color. And I'll show you that when when I give you a close-up. All right, I'm gonna put the other one on the other side. Let me twist this around so you can see. You can really pack the plants in here because they're not going to be in here for very long. Beautiful. All right, next I need to find a spot for the rose. And I think it's looking like there's a really good spot in the biggest space in the back over here. So I'm going to see if I can fit it. The root ball on this is very small. It's a miniature rose. I mean, how adorable is this? See if we can tuck this in here. All right, and lastly, the hyacinths. I love the smell of hyacinths. It reminds me of lilacs. One of my amazing coworkers brought me hyacinths last year, and my whole desk area just smelled like gorgeous spring scents for a few weeks. I loved it. It was so thoughtful of her. All right, now I'm tucking these just where I have a little extra space. Some other things that would look beautiful are like some ivy or any kind of light green foliage. So now that I have all the plants placed, I am just going around and adding soil where I need to make sure there are no air pockets anywhere. Again, you want every root to be surrounded by soil. So next, now that we have everything positioned and I think it's all surrounded by soil, I'm just gonna water it in so that as the soil settles, I can just double check that there's no pockets of air or empty spots anywhere in the soil. Do you have a tween boy? Is this what it's like for you? Okay, so I've cleaned up my mess. I've got everything ready and in a saucer, and the very last step is to top dress. And top dress just means covering the bare soil with something that looks pretty. You absolutely don't need to do that. I think this looks beautiful as it is, and there's nothing wrong with the look of bare soil, but to me, adding a top dress just makes it even that more special and finished. So I like to do it, and I was thinking of using I thought these white stones would look pretty, but I don't think I quite have enough. So I'm gonna try moss because that's what I have the most of. And this is just preserved moss. This happens to be sheet moss, but it comes in a lot of different forms. And it almost just gives it more of like a little woodland look, and just like you're out in your spring garden and plants are popping through the soil. This is a little messy. I should have done this before I finished. So I'm just adding these final little touches. And then I'm going to give you guys a close look. Here's a final look at the planter. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think the moss works well. And even once the hyacinth are done blooming, it should last a couple weeks is what I expect to get out of it. I probably could have put even a couple more hyacinth in here, but that's not going to stop my enjoyment. And these hellebores are just the most beautiful centerpiece. And this was so easy to do. It took me about 10, maybe 15 minutes to put together. So I hope I inspired you guys to make some romantic centerpieces for yourself. And I hope you had as much fun indoor gardening with me today as I did.